Some of them have served in government before. For others, it's an entirely new undertaking. But the common ground for all of them is, as ministers of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, expectations are as high as the portfolios with which they are entrusted. That's our focus on Special Report. No surprise that it's a full house. After all, this was the official marching orders from the federal government, signed, sealed and delivered on this occasion. So attendance is top-notch. As the ceremony gets underway, with the proceedings kicking into top gear, with recognition of the President, Bola Tinubu. The Vice President, Kashim Shettima, the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, and other top functionaries.
Your Excellency, Mr. President, you spared no effort in campaigning across the length and breadth of our great nation, inspiring the renewed hope of our people in a better deal for all Nigerians and their future generations. You have consistently affirmed, both in public and in private discussions, that every minute Your Excellency spends in office will be dedicated to improving the quality of life of our people. You confided in them that the road ahead would not be easy at the outset, but that together, hand in hand, we would reach our destiny as the preeminent African power. Your bold decisions, taken swiftly to restructure our economy, and the urgent action taken on personnel matters in your first days in office have reinforced your reputation as a man whose word is his bond. Your Excellency, in exercise of powers conferred on you by Section 147, subsection 1, 2, and 3 of the Nigerian Constitution, you forwarded the names of highly competent and credible men and women to the Nigerian Senate for confirmation as ministers of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to join hands with you in actualizing your renewed hope mandate. The Senate has confirmed 45 of your nominees as worthy of the task ahead of them, and with your allocation of ministerial portfolios, they are here before you this morning to take their oaths of office. The ministers designate will take their oaths in 9 batches of 5 persons each.
The oaths were taken in 9 batches of 5 persons apiece, alphabetically, and the Minister of Justice leads the fray.
Lateef Fagbemi, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, is a life bencher of the body of benchers. Lateef Fagbemi is a prominent Nigerian lawyer, jurist, and senior advocate of Nigeria who has made significant contributions to the administration of law and justice in Nigeria. Born on the 16th of July, 1959, he attended the University of Jos, where he obtained his Bachelor of Laws degree in 1984, before being called to the bar in 1985. He later obtained a Master of Laws degree from the University of Ife in 1987. After completing his education, the senior advocate began his legal career as a pupil counsel under Chief Afe Babalola, SAN, and later practiced as solicitor and advocate under the name of Lateef Fagbemi & Co., which later converted to a partnership under the same name. In the year 1996, he was conferred with the rank of Senior Advocate of Nigeria and has also received various other awards and honors. The Learned Silk will serve as the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of justice. You may be seated.
The next citation is for the Minister of State for Labor and Employment.
Minister-designate from Abia State, Honorable Barrister Nkeruka Onyejiocha, OON, was born on November 23rd, 1969, where she represented the Isikwatu Umenyoche Federal Constituency of Abia State in the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th Assemblies. She was most recently the Deputy Chief Whip of the 9th Assembly. The former Transitional Local Government Chairman and Abia State Commissioner for Resource Management and Manpower Development holds a PhD in Political Science from the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. She's a lawyer with 2 master's degrees in Transport Management from Ladoke Akintola University in Oyo State and International Affairs and Diplomacy from Imo State University. This recipient of the National Honor of the Officer of the Order of the Niger, OON, will serve as the Minister of State for Labor and Employment.
I will do right to all manner of people according to law, that I will not directly or indirectly communicate or reveal to any person any matter which shall be brought under my consideration or shall become known to me as Minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, except as may be required for the due discharge of my duties as Minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So help me God.
The next batch begins with the Minister of Health and Social Welfare.
Dr. Mohammed Ali Pate, a distinguished figure in the global public health arena, was born on the 6th of September 1968 in Misau local government area of Bauchi State. He studied medicine and surgery at Ahmadu Bello University in Zaria. He worked at the institution's teaching hospital from 1990 to 1991 before moving to the British Medical Research Council laboratories in the Gambia. He would further advance his medical training in the United States, where he completed a residency in internal medicine in 1998, as well as a fellowship in infectious diseases at the University of Rochester in New York. He holds an American board certification in both internal medicine and infectious diseases. Additionally, Dr. Pate possesses an MBA, Health Sector Concentration from Duke University in the US, as well as a master's degree in Health System Management from the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine in the United Kingdom. He has made significant contributions to global health and disease eradication efforts around the world. He will serve as the Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare.
And this next set of citations and swearing-in starts with the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation.
Minister-designate from Cross River State, Dr. Betta Edu, was born on the 27th day of October, 1986. This young medical doctor served as the Commissioner of Health in Cross River State and most recently served as the National Women Leader of the governing All Progressives Congress. She previously served as the National Chairman of the Nigeria Health Commissioners Forum, trained at the University of Calabar, as well as the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine. She has played a pivotal role in the development of the health sector in the country, and now she will serve as the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation.
And more citations follow.
Professor Tahir Maman, Senior Advocate of Nigeria and Officer of the Order of the Niger OON, was born on the 7th of July, 1954 in Michika, Adamawa State. He obtained his bachelor's degree in law from Ahmadu Bello University in Zaria.
In all circumstances, I will do right to all manner of people according to law, that I will not directly or indirectly communicate or reveal to any person any matter which shall be brought under my consideration or shall become known to me as Minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, except as may be required for the due discharge of my duties as Minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So help me God.
Prior to the occasion, citizens and analysts expressed their expectations of the new ministers.
Don't ever substitute what you want for what the president should want. You should know that he knows what he's looking for. So that's number one. Number two, don't excuse that the president is making choices that otherwise he would not like to make. He makes choices that he wants to make. So let's hold him responsible for the quality of the people he chooses, and let's hold him responsible for the performance of those who he has chosen, because he has thousands of Nigerians to choose from, and he has chosen these 47 people or so, 45 from among them. So that's the best he can do in the circumstance.
We are total and firm believers of the Renewed Hope administration. So we will give you the citizens' support that you need. We will be at your doorsteps. We will keep you on your toes. We will meet you in the field. We will monitor and evaluate your projects, your progress, and will not be afraid to spot you out or call for you to be booted out. This time around, Nigerians must win. Honorable ministers, come alive, wake up, rise up. You are 45 of the best amongst us. Do not be a disgrace to us, globally, collectively, and individually. We won't tolerate failure. The entire country expects much from you, and also the president himself, so may your reign be prosperous.
Engineer Abubakar Momo.
Also earlier, the presidency had announced the redeployment of Minister-designate Engineer Abubakar Momo from the Federal Ministry of Youth to the Federal Ministry of Niger Delta Development. In a statement signed by the Special Advisor on Media, President Bola Tinubu also approved the reshuffling of the ministers designate allocated to the Federal Ministries of Transportation, Interior, and Marine and Blue Economy.
He will serve as the Minister of Niger Delta Development.
Adegboyega Ayetola is redeployed as the Honorable Minister of Marine and Blue Economy. Bumi Tunjojo is redeployed as the Honorable Minister of Interior. Saidu Alkali is redeployed as Honorable Minister of Transportation. Furthermore, Ministers of State in the oil and gas sector are domiciled in the Federal Ministry of Petroleum Resources with the following designations. Senator Heineken Lakwabiri is Minister of State, Oil, Petroleum Resources. Ekwerekpe Ekpo is Minister of State, Gas, Petroleum Resources.
The challenges we face today are very daunting.
The President also approved the renaming of the Federal Ministry of Environment and Ecological Management as the Federal Ministry of Environment. Nigerians are not in the dark anymore about who runs what ministry. For the ministers of particular interest, of course, are ministries such as petroleum, education. And what was your impression when these first portfolios were unveiled and we finally knew which name went with which ministry?
Well, I would say that I am generally impressed with the list and the assignment of portfolios. This is a cabinet of accomplishments, of accomplished Nigerians, a cabinet of integration, a talent-driven cabinet, a cabinet that emphasizes geographical balance, one that also emphasizes gender balance. I will also say it is a cabinet that emphasizes religious balance. I will also say it emphasizes resource control balance. All tendencies within the Federation are adequately represented. It's a studied cabinet, in my view. Some of our best 11 are represented in this cabinet. I'm not saying it is a perfect cabinet, but from all indications, it is a cabinet that promotes national integration, a cabinet of national competence. So I will say generally that I'm impressed with the time taken in constituting this cabinet, and I just hope that those who are appointed will live up to their track records, their billing. Some new ministries have been created, some have been unbundled, and we've seen innovation and creativity in the way new ministries were created and unbundled. Now, for instance, the Ministry of Transport is now unbundled. We have split into the Ministry of Marine and the Blue Economy has been carved out of the Ministry of Transport. The Ministry of Mines and Steels has also been split into two. We now have Ministry of Solid Minerals Development and the Ministry of Steel. And you find out that for the first time again, someone of South-South origin is appointed the Federal Minister of Capital Territory. It means that all sorts of tendencies are reflected. What Nigerians then expect is that these appointees will live up to expectations in terms of delivering the democracy dividends to our people.
Indeed, President Bola Tinubu did mention in the run-up to in his campaign, in his run-up to the presidency, which he won, that meritocracy will be a watchword for this administration. And as just you pointed out, that a number of people in this cabinet are very brilliant in their undertaking to be there. For you, as far as the areas where you said just now that it's not a perfect list as you would have it, what did you mean by that exactly? What I mean is that
the perfection can only be ascribed to God. But in terms of, when a cabinet of this nature is constituted, there will be some few people who may feel that, the way the portfolios have been assigned does not really reflect what the interest or what they actually will expect. But on the sense of balance, given marginal errors, I would say this cabinet is well constituted, well thought out. Nigeria is a very complex, highly complex, in terms of religious diversity, in terms of ethnic diversity, in terms of language diversity, in terms of political differences, and some other divisions like that. So a cabinet that anyone will constitute must reflect all of these tendencies, must be fully representative of the Nigerian character. And then the expertise across, Nigeria is gifted across boards. We have talents all over. What is important is for us to have a Nigerian cabinet, a cabinet that is fully representative of all the tendencies that make up this country. A country that truly reflects our federal character, because we have talents everywhere in Nigeria. And so we shouldn't have a cabinet that will be dominated by one ethnic group or one faith at the expense of the other. So we should have a cabinet that will be essentially balanced. They'll say, oh, this is a Nigerian cabinet. So looking through the list, my impression is that this is a Nigerian cabinet that truly reflects all tendencies in the Nigerian Federation. A cabinet.
A cabinet. Okay, so let's look at some of the ministries now. The first ministers to be sworn in was the Minister of Justice and the Attorney General of the Federation. Given how sensitive that position is, what do you think will be his his areas of priority as he takes on this task?
Let me say that from the comments that trailed the appointment of the current Attorney General Lateef Fagbemi, you will see clearly that the bar and the bench are happy with the choice. And this is because Lateef Fagbemi has a pedigree of excellence, a pedigree of experience, a pedigree of exposure. He has been practicing all his life. This is one character who made the sick at the age of 10 years at the bar, which is unprecedented. He applied his trade under the great affair Babalola SA. And if you mention the first 5-6 lawyers in this country today, there's no way you're going to omit the name of Lateef Fagbemi, who has been practicing all his life. So what I expect from him is to live up to his reputation, live up to the confidence that the bar and bench repose in him. He comes with a high pedigree of, his reputation precedes him. So he should be willing and ready to work with all stakeholders in the justice administration sector. He should take all stakeholders along. He should carry them along in his policies, in his pronouncements, in his actions. He should not, neglect his constituency. Secondly, you should also remember that I expect him to strengthen democracy and the rule of law. This is a democratic government, and central to the democratic tradition are certain fundamentals: respect for constitutionalism, respect for the rule of law, respect for due process, zero tolerance for corruption, respect for rights protection, respect for separation of powers, and above all, respect for the fundamentals of good governance.
Do you see a situation where loyalty can be questioned in the case of an appointment and not an election? There's been the argument that goes that if one is appointed, then you know the saying, who pays the piper dictates the tune. It's an appointment, so there's probably more of a leaning towards the one that appointed him.
Of course, you see, yes, in terms of loyalty, one will expect an Attorney General who will be loyal first and foremost to the country and also to the Constitution, and also must also be loyal to the President when the President is following the path of the rule of law. When the President is derailing from the concept of the rule of law, an Attorney General who has sworn to an oath to uphold the law must have the courage to tell the President, you are wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. An Attorney General who follows sheepishly the President, even when the President is wrong, even when the Constitution is violated, and it is not worth being referred to as an Attorney General. An Attorney General is supposed to be a leading light, a torchlight that will guide the administration so that the administration will not derail. But what we are talking about is that a president will function for a maximum period of 8 years if the president gets. So the Attorney General must make sure that the president or the administration that he represents does not run into trouble even after his tenure has expired.
We do thank you. And obviously, to be patriotic is to wish all the ministers well, to wish the president well, as they go about their business, and hope that at the end of the day, the dividends of democracy are evenly spread across all Nigerians in all the geopolitical zones of the country. Mr. Wahab Shitu, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, we thank you for coming on Special Report today.
Thank you for inviting me. It's always a pleasure being on channels. Thank you so much for what you are doing for our country.
It's our pleasure. In a race, the finish lines determine winners. But every runner knows a good start can be just as important, as the new ministers will all be hoping to achieve. For Special Report, I'm Olumide Macaulay.